Hey YouTubers and Star Wars fans, Nathan Alex Xavier here. Excuse the background. I know it's got all lightsabers in it, and that it actually has nothing to do with the video that I'm doing today. I just tend to use lightsabers as a backdrop to my videos because, to be honest, I'm all about the lightsabers and Star Wars. Anytime I talk about Star Wars, lightsabers is what I like to have near me or in front of me or whatever, because that's what I'm all about with Star Wars. So excuse the backdrop. This video today has, well, it semi has something to do with lightsabers, but I'm just using it as a backdrop because it's just my favorite element of the entire series. But anyway, today I'm going to be talking about the new Darth Vader comic. I know there's already some reviews out there at the moment, so I'm just basically putting my 2 cents out there in regards to what I think of this ongoing. Well, I don't know how many there's going to be of this particular story arc, but anyway, just the overall story concept and what we've had so far and my general thoughts on it. So, if you're not already following it, if you haven't been like buying them and collecting them, the first and second issue is already available. The first issue came out a few weeks ago, and the second issue has just been released. And basically, the what it revolves around is Darth Vader literally takes place right after the events of Revenge of the Sith. We're following Darth Vader in the earliest part of his career, and one specific element that the writers have decided to kind of like hone in on this is the construction of Vader's red lightsaber. Now, I did have, well, I was about to say I did have mixed feelings when I found out this was coming out, but that's actually a lie. When I found out that this was coming out, I was absolutely ecstatic. I was really, really excited. I was gonna say I felt a little bit, I had a little bit mixed feelings when I heard that another canon novel slash story was coming out, because to be honest, I've never really been into the books and comics from the old canon, which is now referred to as Legends, or the new stuff. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I just don't care for it. I really don't. The way that I kind of think is, and I know a lot of you will probably disagree with it, and that's that if what's in the book is that damn important and that damn integral to the story, they put it in the film. If it's not in the film, then it's basically the leftovers, you know, that they deem, I wouldn't say not worthy. I won't say that. I think that's kind of disrespectful to the writers that write the stories and, you know, them as a whole. So I won't say that. I just say that, you know, the books and the comics, they just focus on things that just aren't as directly integral to the story. That's what I think. I think it's more of that case. So because of that, I've never really given much interest to canon books and canon comics, etc. I've always just focused purely on the films that have been presented to us, and that's about it. I've judged the entire, you know, Star Wars mythos purely based on that. So, but anyway, when I found out that the comic was coming out, I was absolutely ecstatic. The reason for this was because I found out exactly what it was going to be about. I found out the simplicity of what the story was going to be, who it's going to concentrate on, and what specific element of that character it was going to specifically be centered on. It was going to be centered on Darth Vader, and it was going to be centered on him creating his red lightsaber. That's something that's always intrigued me for a variety of reasons. First one being that I'm a lightsaber enthusiast, and also because I love Darth Vader, as most Star Wars fans do. But anyway, the first issue came out a good few weeks ago. I was there when it literally the day it came out. I bought it from my local Forbidden Planet store, and I bought two different variants. There's a few different variants, not as in terms of like the writing, the content, but simply the front cover. There's a few different variants of it. One's like an action figure, like sort of like a vintage action figure themed front cover that has Anakin Skywalker on it. I think there was a couple of others, but there's one other one that I got. I got the action figure one, but The other one I got was this really nice, simple white cover, like a really classic one. Let me just put this in front so you can see it. This is the one that I bought. So, nothing really on it. It's Marvel at the bottom, Star Wars Darth Vader, but also on the insert, the first page, you actually get the classic front cover of the first issue. You get like the official first like concept front cover of the story, so you actually get both. So that was definitely what drew me to it. So I get both of those. But anyway, the first issue picks up right after the events of Revenge of the Sith, right after Anakin finds out, or now Darth Vader finds out that Padme died, and that he believed that he was the direct result of that. It's his reaction to it when the Emperor tells him, and yeah, it's probably some of the best dialogue or interaction that I've had the pleasure of either like seeing / reading before. Yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers. I really don't, because I'd much prefer anyone that watches this video. I just recommend just go and read it, because seeing a review with spoilers based on it, it's never really going to compare to actually reading it yourself, and that's a strange thing for me to say, because like I said, I've never really been a fan of the Star Wars books, but I'm a fan of reading though. I'm a fan of other comic books, and I'm a fan of other books, etc. So I don't want to take anything away from those of you who would much prefer to know what happens in it from reading it for the first time yourself. So I'm just going to give my generals. It's more just my general feelings of this first issue, and of the continuation of this, and that is that it's fantastic so far. I am really, really impressed with it. I couldn't be more impressed with the way it's been done. Right off the bat, from like starting to read it, it feels like a real. It feels like a real Star Wars story, just printed in pages. I know obviously that sounds quite a simplistic way of putting it, because obviously it's a comic book, of course. But I mean, it just has that real Star Wars feeling to it, and that's probably not explaining it very well. But it's difficult to say that without going into spoilers, which is what I'm trying to avoid. But the way that this first issue has been told, it's been done incredibly intelligently, incredibly faithfully, and it does give some, I don't know if the words Easter eggs, but it gives some little nuggets of new information in terms of the now the ever expanding universe in Star Wars, the new canon, etc. Some little tidbits about what happened to the Jedi, or certain key figures of the Jedi Order right after Order 66. But most importantly, and I should say now, spoilers ahead for this specific bit, it does go into how the Sith gain their red lightsabers, because they've changed that whole thing now. It used to be, when the Sith would had red lightsabers, they'd have them through obtaining synthetic crystals. The crystals that powered the Sith lightsabers weren't like organic ones. They weren't real crystals like the Jedi's lightsabers, and they were synthetic ones. Well, they changed all of that now. Now the Sith lightsabers they're just simply turned red through a process called bleeding. And it does go into that. Specifically, Palpatine, he goes into that with some detail about how the Sith get their lightsabers and why they are the colour that they are. And it's a very, very interesting read. I'd say out of these first two issues that have come out so far, this one bit of information, information interaction is the most interesting so far. It definitely gives a lot more depth that's needed, because I don't think that this is something that's probably won't be expanded on much in the actual films. So at least to have it somewhere, accessible somewhere, is something. But yet so far, in the second one that's been released, I haven't purchased it yet personally because I did have this instinctive feeling that it might have been a bit of a filler, and so I took the risk. I didn't buy it. I watched a YouTube video based on it from the Stupendous Wave and Urban Acolyte, and I was right. The second one, it's good. It's just not as good and not as strong and informative as the first issue. It is. They have all considered it mostly as filler and a setup for the third one. So if you're thinking of collecting these issues, these comic book issues of Darth Vader, I definitely recommend getting the first one. I'd probably give the second one a miss, but I definitely recommend going for the third one. Obviously, it hasn't come out yet. It doesn't come out for a few weeks, but the reason why I definitely recommend going for the third one is because the second one has been branded as mostly as filler. So if it's filler, then it has to be leading somewhat towards this third one that's about to come out. But I would say definitely pick it up, definitely invest in it, as they're only about $5 each. And for the information and the story that's contained within it, it's absolutely worth every penny. I mean, I'm enjoying it thoroughly, and I've only so far got the first issue, and I absolutely love this first issue. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on the Darth Vader comic as it's ongoing. I'll be doing some reviews as the other ones come out, or at least the ones that contain real strong nuggets of story and expanded mythos and this, that, and the other. So do keep watching. You know, when you see the other videos pop up, feel free to give them a watch and then drop a comment below to tell me what you thought of it. Thanks very much for watching, guys and girls, and I will see you all again very soon.